All right, Quant has broken below our micro time frame bullish areas, which is this origin line here, which goes back to the beginning of price. It's broken below, but from a mid-macro standpoint, it's still, as long as Bitcoin's over 18.2 and Quant is over this trend line here, it goes back to June and over the weekly 10. So as long as it's over this area and Bitcoin's over 18.2, I think it's still slightly probable that it continues its general mid-macro uptrend. That's my line in the sand where I say to myself, hey, if it crosses those areas, the weekly 10 / this trend line, the next rally up, I would assume that it's more probable to be a lower high, find rejection, and then continue going down. It could be a big rally up, but it would be a lower high to what it just saw at like 200 or 230. It wouldn't go past there at that point. So this is my probability flip from a mid-macro standpoint. Can you trade down like a crazy bear like the whole way down? Absolutely, on lower time frames, but mid-term time frames, which could take the scale of like 3-4 weeks or 6 weeks. That's the time frame I'm talking on right now. So if you're somebody who uses the 5-minute chart to trade on leverage, well shit's bearish right now. And it's probably going straight towards the weekly 10. And if I had to give one price path, here it is. I'm gonna have to go to the smaller time frame. I think it will hit the weekly 10, but the way it's going to hit it is two forms. It's either going to hold this line here at about 152 and then use that to also interact with, see this weekly 10? This weekly 10 will move its way up and it'll satisfy that and then go up or try up again, right? But I think the weekly 10 is going to be hit. Like, you're not going to see a big move until that's touched. And it might only touch it for 1 minute, but I think it's going to be touched at this point. It's extremely, extremely probable that a strong trade up is not going to happen until the weekly 10 is hit. And I can't give you one number because tomorrow it'll be higher and the next day it'll be higher, which is why I think it could hit this line, wait for the weekly 10 and then go. Another way this could happen, if the stock market really gets bearish, it blasts through the weekly 10, hits this origin line. This is the second most likely thing I think is going to happen over the next month, or 4 weeks or so, about a month. It goes below the weekly 10, which means it still hits it, right? Either way, it's going to probably hit it. And then it gets trapped in yet another triangle, just like stuck in my triangle last time. It gets stuck here and then makes its decision on whether it's going to try up one more time or continue down. It'll do it somewhere at that pinnacle. And that price point here is it's the same horizontal, which I think it could actually start bouncing on and wait for the weekly 10. So either way, I think it will end up here. I mean, could you get a nice big bounce like up to here first and then hit? Yeah, sure. But I think it's extremely, extremely, extremely probable that this will be hit. And I would not be looking for a strong trade up to the upside until the weekly 10 is hit. And when it does happen, I just showed you what I think are the two most likely ways that price would move, like literally move in that situation. And that is